Hi, and welcome to the World Podcast, where we bring up crazy topics and discuss with experts and less smart people about the same topic. Today, we will be talking about the world's famous Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey is an old teacher, but then became a very rich man by Ponzi schemes and financial moves. Today's guests are Chris Robin, an expert in Jeffrey's life and a neighbor with his parents. And the other guy is Ludwig Rom, a rather smart guy, not so smart, that believes in all sorts of cons.
So, make this quick so I can go back to making America great again.
Yeah, okay, buddy. Let's talk about Jeffrey here. Jeffrey Epstein lived in one of America's oldest gated communities, and he lived on a medium-level income. Jeffrey, in his later life, had multiple connections with high-rise individuals. Jeffrey also owns a private island in the Caribbean, where he took multiple underage girls to sexually assault them with his rich friends. But how did he go from poor to owning a $100 million island? Chris will talk about that now.
Well, Knut, that's a really important topic, in my opinion, and it's a very big turning point for Epstein. And it all started when we both graduated. I actually remember seeing him in the hallways, but I never made up my mind to say something. And we even were in the same class. After graduation, he started teaching math in a private school, where he got connections with powerful and rich parents. People believed that Epstein was having relationships with his students. Later on, Epstein was fired from his job for mysterious circumstances. Epstein later went on and got into the investing business, where he earned a lot of money, and he used to buy a private island in the Caribbean.
Okay, but what is the conspiracy theory about Jeffrey? The conspiracy theory is his death and the mysterious things that happened with his death. Jeffrey hanged himself, but is that really the case? There are some problems with his death. Like, he was on high surveillance every day, but in this instance, no guard was by him on a 10-minute window, where he so-called killed himself. I almost believe the official line here, but there are too many gaps, and that's why Ludwig is here to talk about today. But that's why it's a conspiracy theory, because there's so many gaps, and people don't believe that he actually hanged himself.
Okay, the conspiracy theory is that Epstein was actually murdered in jail to prevent him from talking and revealing what some other individuals who were allegedly involved in the Epstein's sex trafficking schemes. And here's my evidence. First of all, the official cause of death was by suicide hanging, but the autopsy showed broken bones in his neck, including the hyoid bone. That's a bone that usually breaks in strangulation cases, not in low drop hangings like the one Epstein supposedly used.
Yeah, but isn't it entirely possible for the bone to break like that from a suicide, especially the way Jeffrey hanged himself, because he hanged himself quite weird.
Yeah, but that's not all. The security cameras outside the cell just so happened to malfunction that night. Some reports say the footage was unusable, so there's no video proof of what actually happened in the hallway, which is hard to believe for such a high-profile inmate. And then there's the guards. The two men assigned to check on him fell asleep and later falsified their logs. That's not a theory, that actually happened, and they were charged for it. Now, we can't forget the most important part. Epstein was connected to some of the most powerful people in the world, and a lot of people think he had dirt on them. And if he went to trial, their names might come out. So yeah, officially it was suicide, but when you stack all that together, the broken bones, the camera failure, sleeping guards, the timing, the high-profile connections, it can't just be a coincidence.
I actually think that the conspiracy theories are true, because like Ludwig said, when you add the missing guards and all the enemies that he had, it couldn't have been a coincidence. And the guards even said that they covered the truth about his killing and falsified their logs. And it can't be more obvious that they're trying to falsify his death.
Jeffrey's death is a very interesting. It could possibly be a suicide, although there are many factors and all points to a murder, not a suicide.
Now you have a wee think about the Jeffrey's mysterious murder. That's a wrap up of this episode. The World Podcast out.